Okay, hello everyone. We are live. Hello, welcome. Thank you very much for being here with us today. Hope everything is working and everyone can hear us. If you have any concerns or questions, please write it on the chat. The webinar is organized by sun.store, online marketplace where you can buy and sell PV products across Europe. On the meeting, we will talk about trends in PV sector and most importantly, challenges that we all are facing this year. If you have any questions, please write them down on the chat. Also, I would like to ask you to write what are your challenges in 2024 that concerns PV sector. And if there will be time, we will answer all the questions and challenges after the debate. If there won't be enough time, we will organize additional Q&A session where we will answer them all. So now, I would like to introduce all our guests. First of all, Agata Krawiec-Rokita, CEO and co-founder of sun.store. Meng, Europe Vice President, Sungrow Europe. Merdzhanova, Head of Sales of Eastern, Northern and Europe and UK, Jinko Solar. Andrew Garcia, Managing Director, SegenSolar. Bartosz Majewski, co-founder and CEO, Menlo Electric. David San Miguel Garcia, Director General Solar Amara NZero, and I'm sorry, Daan van Leen, Sales Manager, SolarToday. And as a coordinator of our debate, Hans-Christoph Neidl from PV Europe. I think we can start now, and I will pass the voice to Hans.
Yes, hello everybody. I just hope you have a good spirit now and everything is working and everything is fine for you. I would like to start the debate with a general question to Sungrow and Jinko Solar. What are the main PV trends and challenges in 2024 from a point of view of a supplier? So maybe just if you, Meng or Maria, would start.
Okay, maybe I can start first.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So hello everyone, nice to meet you here. My name is Meng. I'm from Sungrow and I'm responsible for the whole Europe, the distribution business. So regarding this question, I would like to share a little bit from my point of view. I think the trend, anyway, we are still quite optimistic about the whole market. Even from 2022 to 2023, there are some decrease from the feeling of the market. But actually, if you see the number, we can see the number still increase for the whole Europe, no matter it's residential or C&I. But the feeling is maybe a little bit make people feel frustrated because the whole market is full of stock and the high stock cost a lot of pricing, the competition to make both suppliers and also our customers the experience is not good, especially in the second half of last year. But anyway, the trend we believe is still going to increase, especially in some new countries, new market, like in Eastern Europe or in Greece or in some other countries. Even I can see also Germany still the biggest country for sure. And the next year we believe still a little bit increase based on the number of 2023, the forecast. And if you ask me about the challenges, I think this is, I would like to share something more from a supplier's point of view. Because during last 3 years, the Chinese economy is not so good due to the COVID-19 influence. So a lot of industries in China is a very hard time for them, especially some white goods or black goods. They are not so good in the performance during the COVID-19 years. So, but 2022, the Europe, the PV industry increased so crazy, so attract a lot of industries or companies want to join into this area and want to earn money from the PV industry. And also, like the white goods or black goods companies, they have the technology, they have the channel in Europe, so they want to use such kind of advantage also then try to make money in this PV industry. So we can see last year a lot of competitors enter into this area. Most of them, honestly speaking, they are not from PV industry. They are from other industries, but they can try to find the ODM factories in China or in anywhere in the world and to produce the goods, inverters or batteries, and then they ship it to Europe and sell to the market. But the one thing is they are not from the industry and they don't even have the local team in the market. So which make the price competition is quite serious and also make the whole market like a mess. So this is what we see last year, and maybe this year this kind of thing will continue. But we believe the market always depends on the long-term relationship and depends on the quality, the service, which is becoming more and more important as the supplier. If bad service and also bad quality of the product and even the support from local team is quite less, you can only depend on the communication with people in anywhere in the world to confirm one deal or confirm one delivery. This doesn't work, and even your end user cannot find the right person to check the issues, to fix the problems. This will cause also problems. So we believe that this kind of challenge even will continue in 2024, but from long-term point of view, maybe second half of this year or early of next year, I think most of the competitors maybe will disappear or they will gone. And then we see the trend and the challenges will back to the normal. This is the forecast from Sungrow's point of view.
Well, thank you. So we see we have quite a lot of movement and also challenges in terms of price, service quality, companies who are playing on the market or not. So Maria, what is your point of view? Do you see this similar as Meng, or do you stress on some other aspects?
Thank you, Hans, for the question, and good morning to everyone. In general, we all know that the solar and PV industry is a growing industry. Meng mentioned 2022, which was actually a big jump, and everybody was maybe misled in 2023. So a lot of small suppliers ended up shipping a lot of stock on the market, which everybody faced. But that jump was due to we all know the Ukrainian war, the electricity prices, and a lot of the market overestimated last year. So Europe ended up with huge inventory. This was one of the reasons where we saw the pressure. And yes, a lot of new players ended up shipping to Europe, which made it very confusing for distributors and installers to choose what's the right component, where we buy it from. But in generally speaking, the market is on the grow, and it's expected to grow more because, as we all know, that the solar module, the solar industry is a growing industry with the lowest cost efficiency and reliability source for energy these days. And it's running on zero emissions, which is something Europe is more and more looking into, reducing the emissions and the carbon footprint. This is one of the maybe the few sources of energy which come at a lower cost with zero or almost to zero running cost on the long term for 25 plus years, which is making a lot of the businesses and the household owners looking at it as an opportunity to reduce their energy bills and get green energy for long term. From a manufacturer point of view, it's going to be a challenging 2024. Let's put it this way. I think Meng mentioned this as well. We are expecting a loss-making potential across all the value chain on the upstream, because at the moment the market is very cost sensitive, and there's almost nowhere to go when it comes to cutting the cost of production. Plus, on top of that, we are seeing the logistics challenges at the moment with what's happening in the Red Sea, and we're seeing logistic costs doubling and tripling. So this will create a big challenge maybe on price reduction, because there is no way a manufacturer can run only on losses. The other challenges we see in general, and I think everybody here agrees on this, is finance is becoming a challenge when it comes to renewables. So this is one of the market challenges, let's put it this way. This is from our point of view.
Well, okay, thank you, Maria. I think indeed what we see the last 2 weeks in the Red Sea going on, this will bring challenges to all companies who are transporting overseas. Let's maybe add the aspect also about the new products, what you are want to launch this year as upcoming new products. Maybe you can say something about that, Meng, and then again you, Maria. Meng, if you just can, if you want to say something about upcoming new products.
Yeah, sure. For the upcoming products in Sungrow, one of our policy is to cover all of the scenarios. You know, Sungrow before we are from a utility, we are really good at the big projects. But since the years, we are working hard on the residential and the C&I field. Now, this year, we are going to have 3 main products. First is higher power hybrids. Now the hybrids we have is around up to 10 kilowatt. But this year, we are going to launch the 15 kilowatt, 20 kilowatt, and 25 kilowatt. Meanwhile, we will have the bigger battery to match with those higher power hybrids. And this kind of product is going to be on board, which means customers can pick up from Q1 of 2024. So this is first new product. The second product is microinverters. As I said, Sungrow will cover all of the scenarios, means not only PV inverters, hybrids, but also micros and C&I and utility. And the micros is new in Sungrow, but we can see the demand of such kind of scenarios implement becoming more and more in the overall Europe countries, especially in the Netherlands, in France. France is traditional micro inverter market, but Netherlands and maybe in the future Germany and other countries will also have more micro inverter demands. So we are also going to have this product in 2024. And now the timing schedule is around May. People can start to order the new products for micro inverter. And another is the balcony solution. The balcony solution we are also going to have in the second half of this year. We believe this kind of a product is also can fulfill most of other demands in the whole Europe, like in Spain, in Italy, people living in the apartment, and they also want to have the PV solutions. We can provide the balcony solution with a small battery as well. And this 3 kind of products is what we are going to have this year. And of course, for C&I, we are also going to have the higher power products. And you will see in SegenSolar, I think it's 150 kilowatt, which is going to start the order within this year, but in the second half of the year.
Well, thank you. So we see there's still the trend that you're expanding your portfolio and
Yes.
more or less offering a one solution
Correct.
for a lot of different applications. It was a trend we see already since several years. So,
Yes.
Maria, what about Jinko Solar? What are you offering? And I think this is also interesting for the installers who are joining us today to know about that.
Yeah. The solar industry in general is constantly innovating. We see a lot of new technologies coming out all the time and being researched and developed. Some of the most promising developments in PV modules was the mass production of N-type, the TOPCon technology, which has a higher efficiency. And Jinko started developing it in 2016, and we were one of the first module manufacturers to start mass production in 2022 to a gigawatt level, which started the shift from PERC to N-type. And this is where we will keep growing towards increasing the efficiency and the power output of N-type. And one of the newest, it's not a product, but in the concept is Jinko's now constructing one of the biggest and newest 53 gigawatt vertically integrated factory, where you will see from ingots to modules all in one roof, which is going to be one of the biggest factories in the world. This is to make the whole traceability topic, which is becoming a question, more clear and more visible to all the investors. From the other developments which we have is the 66 cell module, but this is more towards utility scale because we are seeing more and more utility projects being constructed now. And the power output and the efficiency is and reducing the LCOE of the project is one of the key drivers in this field. When it comes to distributors, we will work on increasing power and efficiency, as I mentioned. The other developments we have on our side is the storage, which we have introduced, and at the moment we are heavily investing in this technology with the new gigawatt factory as well, including in-house cell capacity for the batteries. So this is the development from our side.
Well, sounds also exciting, and we see the innovation cycle in the manufacturing field or from the suppliers is still going on, and it will be very dynamic also this year. So I would now come to the next level of panelists here. Those are the distributor side. And I would start again also with the question from the distribution side. What are the main challenges from your point of view in 2024? And I would just like to ask the different people here. So maybe I would start with, now I'm gonna start with Andrew. Andrew, what do you think? What is your point of view, the outlook for this year?
Yes, thank you, Hans, and good morning, everybody. I think we've all lived over the last 2 or 3 years through the solar coaster, and certainly within SegenSolar, we've experienced the ups and downs of the period that I think everybody has, without any question. For us looking at 2024, the critical issue is always what level of investment desire has the end user for investing in a solar PV system, battery storage, an EV charger in their home. Can they afford it? Can they prioritize investing in a system rather than potentially a new gas boiler with some of the regulations certainly we're seeing in Germany over gas boilers and electric boiler demand, the subsidies that are going into heat pumps. So what is going to drive the motivation for an end user to invest in the PV system? And that is fundamentally the initial question that we always look at. So from a distribution perspective, we then say, okay, where is the market right now? You know, we know that we've got the challenges of the war in Ukraine, the issues with the Red Sea, the overcapacity of production that we saw with the manufacturers that Maria was talking about over the last 12 to 18 months. All of these big scale issues have put a lot of challenges on the market. That's driven up interest rates, it's driven up energy costs, it's driven up inflation, and this is making that decision for the end user more difficult. So for us as a distributor, it's about working closely with our installer customers so that we can make sure that we design and can provide the right portfolio of products to enable them to sell to those end users. We've got financing systems coming into place to support our installer customers, to help them support their end users. So it's all about the end user experience for us. It's all about saying, what can we do within SegenSolar to make that end user experience better? So for us, 2024 will be a very challenging year. I think 2023 has left a lot of scars on the industry. I think we've all been hurting. I think there's no sector with manufacturing, distribution, installers that haven't suffered some pain over the last 12 months. I think there's more pain to come, but it's about us working together with our manufacturers and our installers to make sure that we can make the end user's experience better.
Well, thank you. And Andrew, Bartosz, how do you see the perspectives and challenges for this year? What would you stress on?
Yeah, so I think many participants in the PV industry were hoping that 2023 would be like a little bit of a one-off, that there is this oversupply in European market that has to be cleared. Once it's cleared, everything will be back to normal. I have to say I don't share that view, just because of the reasons that Meng also elaborated upon. So there is a lot of not only oversupply in Europe, but I would say overcapacity on the manufacturing side, in the module business, in the inverter business, in the storage business, and this is not going to clear anytime soon. So I had the opportunity to visit China a few times last year, and I met many of our suppliers, many of our partners, and they were all saying the same thing. We just raised capital, we're in the process of raising capital, we're getting an investor, we just got an investor on board. There is a lot of money that's been invested in this industry, and that means that a lot of the players do have a war chest to go through this for the next 18 to 24 months. So I don't think this situation is clearing anytime soon. Now, of course, that for installers, that could be a benefit, because the prices are going to, I think, remain low. Maybe even, on the inverter side and on the storage side, we would expect even prices to go lower. That creates challenges for distributors on the other side, of course, because what we do for the industry, we manage the risks, and we manage the risks by stocking up to provide the installers with what every distributor in every industry does, and that's breadth of choice and availability. And how do you maintain breadth of choice and availability when the prices are falling, and not trip over that? So that's a risk we will have to be able to manage, to be able to provide our customers with good prices, good availability, and to be able for them to perform and to be successful. Now, the way we do it at Menlo is just by being present in many markets, because we've realized over the last couple of years that in Europe the market is relatively stable as a whole, but certain countries do pick up or they do fall down in terms of their demand. So our idea is just to be present in many markets. Once certain markets pick up, we'll be available there for installers to be able to serve them. If certain markets slow down, we'll just move the stock elsewhere. And this is, I think, the most important thing for us, to be able to translate our scale and the terms that we can negotiate with suppliers directly to installers as benefits to them. Another challenge that is a little bit of a longer term challenge is, in an environment with lower prices of components, the model with physical sales force is going to be more and more under pressure, because there's just only that many clients that a salesperson can serve. So if a given salesperson has 20 clients and he can generate turnover of, I don't know, let's say 2 million euro, that's fine. But if prices fall and that's no longer 2 million euro, but it's rather 500,000 euro, the person may not be a viable, it may no longer be a viable channel of sales. And that means that we all have to develop online channels to be able to serve our customers conveniently, of course, be available 24/7 and so on and so on, but also for the business to be profitable and sustainable in the future.
Yeah, well, thanks. I think about the online marketplace. We still will focus later with Agata. So, but for me, it's interesting. So we have the Red Sea tensions now, and was mentioned in the beginning that manufacturers also see some supply chain issues. You still think that the prices still will further drop this year? Did I get you right?
So it's just a matter of short term versus long term, right?
Mm.
Of course, Red Sea situation will get cleared sooner or later. It's a matter of months rather than years. I don't think we expect module prices to slip, but I think on the inverter and storage side there is still space.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you, Bartosz. Daan, how do you see the perspectives and the challenges? Um, Daan, I think we cannot hear you.
So maybe for the question, you can go with the questions to Agata, and Dan will fix his voice, and then we'll get back to you as soon as it works.
Yeah, okay. So maybe
I
now
can jump in the
we
question,
have
Hans.
David here.
Oh,
So
Yes,
so
because I'm
David, I would follow up with you now. So also the question to you, how is the situation from your point of view, and how are the perspectives for this year and the challenges?
yeah. Okay, thank you, Hans. Hello, everybody. Sorry for not switching on the camera, but I don't know why I'm having some connection problems through this platform. But you won't miss anything, so that's cool. So my name is David San Miguel. I'm the managing director of Amara and NZero. We are a pan-European added value distributor, and well, about trends and challenges is a quite interesting question. I mean, Andrew and Bartosz explain quite well the situation that we are facing as a distributors, but I think that even we need to look to the final customers, Andrew said, and there will be a lot of price pressure, as also Bartosz mentioned. I think that there is quite a space to add value to our network of installers. In the end, they are the really key in solar business, and how Amara can support that on what we are seeing. I mean, trying to bring all these new changes in technologies, as Maria and Meg mentioned, that PV industry is moving so fast in terms of technology. I think that there needs to be some distributors in order to bring that technology and be explained to the customers, do trainings in a presential way, but also webinars. We have a laboratory where we can test the different technology in order to show and prove all these new technologies to our installers and also to the manufacturers. And I think that we should go for that, giving more pre-sales to our customers, to our network of installers, and also, of course, the challenges that we are facing are quite clear. I mean, supply constraints we have been suffering in one way in 2022, in another way in 2023. Let's see 2024. I agree that there is overcapacity that we need to watch out a lot of on managing the risk, but I think that we need to behave as an ecosystem. I mean, there is the manufacturer, the distributor, the installer, the final customer. We need to be more mature, think more on the future, and trying to work as an ecosystem, especially in forecasting the demand. The big problem in 2023 was that everybody expected a same year than 2022, even increasing, and the reality was different. And if we could have any kind of forecasting tool between all the channel, will be much easier to ship the necessary goods, and with that we could avoid those price drops. And also another challenge that we are seeing in the market is the access of financing, especially the final customers. Of course, they can go to the bank and ask for a loan, but what we are seeing is that that way of financing is not really escalating, is not following the rhythm that our installers are doing. So we agreed with several private equity fund in order to create a vehicle to be used by the installers in order to finance final customers. And it's something that we are seeing that is working quite good. And again, it's another tool, another service to provide to our network, the installers, engineering, EPCs, that I think that also we should think on that. Always coming to the market with an added value proposition and trying to hide or to run about price, because everybody will be someone cheaper than you, and not only in the distributor perspective, also in manufacturer perspective, also in the installer perspective. I mean, we need to add value to our job, and I think that is something that we need to work as an ecosystem, as I said.
Well, David, thank you. I think that's a very important aspect, what we still will discuss later also about possibilities of let's say more cooperation. But now first again to you, to Daan, how do you see the perspectives for this year?
So hopefully my microphone works now. Sorry for,
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Sorry, my apologies. No, so it's like everybody's already telling, it's going to be another challenging year. I think everybody told about a lot of different challenges, but well, either way, it's going to be a very interesting year. I think from our perspective, of course, there were a lot of challenges last year with all the price drops. I think especially with the panels, it hurt a little. Especially I think for the people in charge, prices drop so quickly, and it's our service to keep enough panels in stock for all our customers, for all our franchises. And it is, of course, sometimes we needed to take a loss, sometimes even a big loss, so it hurts from time to time. And now you see that the world is, it's changing rapidly. We went from, let's say, a lot of oversupply with panels, and now there is even some shortage with some panels. But like Bartosz already told, if the production is still very high, I think there will be it's only short term that there is some shortage. But I think the same as Bartosz told, we also are focusing more and more on different markets. And in that case, we also are, let's say, introducing new products, because all those different markets require more or less specific needs. They have specific products in every market. So we still are looking, let's say, on a monthly basis. We're looking on what can we add, what do we need to add to serve our customers in the best way possible.
Well, thank you. This would be the one aspect what several of you already mentioned, would be the question: new solutions, products, or service that address the needs of installers. But some of you already told something about that. And then still the question: are you waiting for some specific PV products to come? We heard from the manufacturer side already what they have in the pipeline. Maybe if I would continue now, maybe again with Andrew, you still maybe can say some sentences to those aspects. You mentioned already the installers, financial services. Is there something else?
I think Hans, as we said, the market has been through a huge period of change and evolution over the last couple of years. But I think what we will see and what we need to continue to see is that there will be a higher demand for double glass panels going forward. And I think the manufacturers are recognizing that. There is a constant evolution to a higher class panel power, obviously recognizing there are size constraints. So again, we are seeing manufacturers react with the new developments to that, and we welcome that, because certainly with SegenSolar's work in Germany and other markets, those size constraints can come into play. And certainly, as Meng mentioned earlier, with the drive from insurers in places like the Netherlands, the requirement for micros will continue, microinverters will continue. But for us, what we are seeing and will want to continue to see is that manufacturers are working towards a broader provision of product, not so much on the panel side, but on the inverters and batteries and EV chargers. And we will continue to see, and we would expect to see, and I'm happy to see as well, that movement going on, because people like to buy single brand range. Makes sense. Though where that's not possible, what we do need to see is compatibility. And somebody mentioned it in the chat earlier, that compatibility of products across ranges is absolutely critical. And we saw with SolarEdge last year that they said, well, our products are really compatible with other manufacturers, and that was a huge negative from our perspective. Certainly, we like at SegenSolar to offer our customers that complete umbrella. So for us, from that sort of product development side, we want to be able to offer our customers, and for them to offer the end user that umbrella for a house, which is a PV panel, which is storage, which is inverters, which is EV charging, and gradually we'll move into heat pumps as well, so that we can help make our end customers a renewable focused community.
Well, okay, thank you. So that's what we heard already, more or less in the beginning from the manufacturer, the trend or the demand also for complete solutions, of course, for the end customer, also from your point of view as a distributor. Maybe just shortly come back to you, Bartosz. Do you want to add something about those aspects, also special solutions, product services, and
no, so again, it's a little bit of a different situation in different markets in Europe, right? Because we see different power systems, different needs. Like Menlo originates from a market where still the attachment rate of batteries is only 3% for residential installations. We expect that to sharply increase in the coming months, but it's nowhere near to what we have in Germany, when the situation is quite the opposite, where almost every new residential system has a battery. So we've always been trying to be at the forefront of changes. Maria mentioned the N-type prevalence that we see in the market now, but we were actually, I think, one of the first distributors to move with Jinko exclusively N-type, or almost exclusively N-type, a year and a half ago. And it's similar with the solutions from Sungrow. At the moment, we see increasing demand for storage solutions and hybrid inverters beyond 20 kilowatts, so 25, 30, 40, 50 kilowatts, and especially the bigger ones, the bigger CNI systems. In different markets, the maturity is again different. In some markets there is a lot of requests, but no real orders. People are still kind of trying to understand, how do I work with these larger CNI solutions, in terms of like the batteries, the inverters. In some markets, it's already happening. So we definitely are counting very strongly on the increase in prevalence and in the attachment rate of batteries to both residential and CNI systems. And if you think about it in a broader perspective, it's one of the very few alleyways to still grow in this industry. If you think about it, if you look at the module industry and distribution of PV modules, probably 2022 was a peak year for us, and if you multiply the price of last year with volumes of last year, we're not getting there anytime soon, right? I don't think the demand is going to increase as much to overcome a threefold decrease in module prices. Yeah. So if you want to grow, you either have to expand geographically, or you have to take market share from others, which is difficult, or you have to move into storage, and that's that.
Mhm. Okay, well, thank you, Bartosz. Dan, would you like to add still something?
Yeah, I think, well, most of what Bartosz already said is that, yeah, we come from the Netherlands, where also, well, almost nobody was attaching batteries. But we see it in a lot of different markets, but also in the Netherlands, because of regulations changing, that everybody now needs to attach batteries. So we are focusing more and more on batteries, on bigger batteries, and also on, let's say, on bigger hybrid inverters. Yeah, and if you look on the utility scale, also there you see, let's say, bigger panels, and also attached with batteries, etc. But yeah, we always keep in mind to say we can attach more and more products, depending on what the market wants. But still, we always want to focus on quality and service. I think what was one of the first things that Meng mentioned in this webinar. We always try to keep that in mind, that keep focusing on the products, that it's good quality. And that's also, I think, the reason that we only do a few brands like Jinko, for instance, because we want to be sure that that the quality is always in place, and still is in a few years.
And I think this is also a place where we add value to installers, right? Because installers are also impacted by this trend. You know, if the value of the installation drops because of the lower module prices and so on, it's more difficult for them to make enough money to sustain their business. Yeah, and if you add storage, then the ticket again increases, the value of the installation increases, and it's more easy to, you know, keep the price tag somewhat intact despite the falling module prices. But installing a hybrid system with batteries is just way more complicated. And regardless of just how strong a given manufacturer is in Europe in terms of their presence, they're not as strong as distributors are. So of course we have to run trainings, we have to show installers how to install big systems, and we do that all the time. You know, we do that all the time. And I think, you know, for Netherlands or for Poland, that it's going to be a big challenge over the next 12 months, how to help our clients install these systems correctly so that their customers don't run into any issues.
Yes, only to add, Hans, to what has been said, that I completely agree. I mean, if we look at what Europe institutions said about that in 2050 we need to be carbon neutral, we need to accelerate the electrification of the demand. Of course, sounds so easy, like, okay, let's go everybody to EV vehicles, so let's move to heat pumps, but we need to generate that demand as distributors, as manufacturers, and also as an installers. And for that, the technical expertise that our installers needs to have are higher than they are having today. And we need to work again as an ecosystem also to pressure the institutions to give the right signs in terms of regulation. Daan said it, in the Netherlands, the regulation has changed, so battery will come. Also, C&I battery seems that the business case still is not, let's say, the best if you don't have some aids. So it's something that we need to work together. We don't need to forget the institution, that also they need to establish the right framework to develop that electrification of the demand.
Well, thank you, David. So we see there at the end there are a lot of possibilities still to improve the cooperation, also distributors, installers. Would it be in terms of service, of quality, of complete solutions and other things, financing. So maybe, but now to you, Agata, from as a representative of an online PV marketplace, what can you contribute to this, or what is your point of view? What is your function in the market?
So we are, good question, Hans. We are just in the middle of sellers and buyers, so we feel the pains of both sides. depending on which side has more challenges at the moment. We feel them also. So the distributors who spoke are our sellers, installers are our buyers. So regardless of the momentum on the market, we empathize with both of the groups, and the challenges which were mentioned are also concerning us. But on top of that, I think that the biggest challenge for us as online is that it is still relatively new. And even though that the digitalization is ongoing and everyone feels that it's probably the next step, it is still very, very fresh. The trust is still not there. And taking under consideration what Meng mentioned at the beginning, that the trust in the industry is also like a bit shaken. It's even more difficult to build trust in digital when you don't see the partner, where you don't have like 100% certainty who is on the other side. So that's why it is our main point for the next year to work on building this trust, on building the systems and building tools which would build this credibility in the marketplace, like building secure payments, working with vetted partners, as like we work with the partners present here, like Segen, Amara, Menlo, SolarToday. They are selling on sun.store. So by building this group of sellers who are trusted companies with a long history, we want to also build the trust in online and in digital channel. But definitely the trust and credibility is our biggest challenge for the next year, apart from all the challenges which were already mentioned, which are shared by the industry.
Yeah, well, and what about your ties to the installer side? What do you think? What buying solutions do installers need, or do you think that they're more or less they will become more and more digital shoppers, or do you think this will be more or less a kind of niche, maybe bigger, but still a niche market?
I knew you would ask this question, so we've just came from the first. So we did a small survey during the first, and we asked installers what do they think. So majority, like actually around 70%, mentioned that the next they predict that the next year they will buy more and more in digital channels. So that in 2024 they will at least start buying in digital. So I think that it's almost certain that this trend is coming. But what at the same survey we also asked how much do you buy at the moment, and the data is way different. Only half did some purchase online in the past, and majority it was ad hoc purchase of 1 or 2 times per year, not really recurring purchases. So to answer shortly, for the future, most predict growth in the digital channels, and installers want to buy in digital. But looking at the past, it is still very rare and occasional.
Are there also in your survey, are there special regions or countries which are more digital than others, or are there kind of bigger differences between different regions?
Unfortunately, for now, we only covered Poland and Germany with this survey. So, but we plan to cover whole Europe. So when I have the data for across Europe, I will share it. For now,
okay.
no major differences between the countries, these two countries.
Yeah, and what about quality aspects and service? Is there from your point of view, if I get you right, that's the same challenge as for everybody in the market, also for the traditional distributors, or do you see some special challenges for you to provide, either in terms of service and quality assurance?
It's even more
provide
challenging
that?
for us, I think.
Mm.
So for the traditional distributors, they have face-to-face relationship. They have field workforce who can really talk to the installer. For digital marketplace, we work mostly on distance, even though we do have people in the countries with local languages who can support the process. But building this trust is even more challenging, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's also what our users of what installers we surveyed or we talk to on daily basis are mentioning. They buy online mostly for the good comparison of offers, for the convenience of the process, for price aspects. But why they buy offline is actually after sales, technical support, advice.
Yeah.
So for us, these aspects are to be worked on, and this is what we focus on or brainstorm regularly. How can we answer these topics and how can we provide this service in digital world so that installers are happy with this service and still can use this convenience of digital channel.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Agata. But as we know, or as we heard, you are all, or we are all part of this solar ecosystem, let's call like that. And so there would be the question now in the next round. How can suppliers and distributors move the market forward together, and how can you maybe through this cooperation, through the ecosystem, better tackle challenges, let's see, like price cannibalization or overstocks or other aspects you already mentioned. So I just would ask in the round who wants to say something uh, to that, or I just choose somebody. Maybe
Can you hear
would
me
you
now?
like to start, David?
Yes, why not? Why not? So it's interesting topic, right? About price cannibalization. I assume that last year was a matter of surviving. So with the price fall of modules, you had to sell it as soon as possible at the highest price, but always was lower than expected. And we need to focus in order to avoid the price cannibalization. We need to focus in add value to the ecosystem. I mean, it's as simple as that. Bartosz said. I mean, if prices now in other categories of product will may decrease during this year, you don't have, let's say, enough margin in order to pay all the services that you provide to the customers. And will be a moment that some customer will choose buying as cheapest as possible with no services, and maybe later when they need to come back to the installation because nobody helped them in the commissioning of the inverter, they will lose also the margin that they made with that final customer. So it's something that we need to work all together on that, on providing services and creating the right ecosystem, because if not. And we have the experience also of another kind of distributors, not PV specialists, but for example, electrical distributors. I mean, they are also selling PV. Is a residual or a smaller category than others that they are working, but the support that they are giving to the installer is more local presence, being really close to the customers, and a lot of customers are willing to pay more for an inverter if they have the right support. So I think that we need to work on that, and of course everybody needs to choose his own road, but in order to don't go for a price cannibalization and build a long-term and robust ecosystem, we need to focus in added value and services to installers, final customer, and even manufacturers. For example, we are now connecting our systems, our ERP, to different manufacturers in order to provide them our sales forecast. We are working with big customer in a rolling forecast of 6 months. So there are, of course, new mechanisms that we implemented and that we are implementing in order to build a better ecosystem and don't have another year like 2023, because going to bankrupt of any manufacturer, distributor, big installer is not good for the sector. We are going to be in the news next day. And I think that we have enough problems trying to fight for that, for a good regulation, that we need to be a bit smarter. And I think that, yes, is that we need to focus on creating value.
Well, yeah, in the very important aspect, indeed, maybe one of the manufacturers want to say something about that. I don't know, maybe Maria or Meng.
Like comment, yes. Actually, the collaboration between distributor and manufacturer is key. Trainings and for not only for the sales team of the distributor, even the joint trainings for installers, because it's a very dynamic industry. We have new products all the time, and this needs to be explained first to the sales team of the distributors to be able to convey this to installers, and then to installers as well. Jinko's always been supporting our distributors when they're asking us to do trainings, because we know that this is one of the key aspects of success for both parties, both distributor and manufacturer. I think last year, one of the major issues which created the oversupply was the forecasts that even the suppliers received from our partners. The forecast was very high, and this gave a lot of manufacturers the idea that Europe is going to be even bigger than 2022, when there was a huge rush because of the electricity price jumping due to the war in Ukraine. And this didn't happen. We all know what happened last year. It was painful for the distributors. It was painful for the suppliers as well. We have seen as well a lot of small traders coming from China offering product in Europe, where I think most of us didn't know where this product is coming from. So the installers should be really careful where they're buying from. It's not just looking at the price, it's where this is coming from. Is it really Jinko or is it really Sungrow? Because there are cases where the modules are not Jinko modules, they're Jinko branded. So I think installers need to really be careful how they choose their partners and the source of that component, because you never know. You might end up with something that doesn't work in 2 years, and then what?
I agree with Mario.
Yeah.
With Maria, this is also what I said. We don't know what kind and where those machines from. As I said, in China, there are a lot of factories where ODM, they can produce immediately for you, and what kind of brand you want and in which way. They will put just on top of the machine and then ship to Europe or to the world. But be careful. The quality cannot be guaranteed, and even warranty, they told you, can be 15 years, even 20 years. But after maybe 2 or 3 years, they even disappeared. You cannot find the sellers anymore. So this is the real situation. So I agree with Mario. Really need to focus on the real brands and who can always provide you local service and the better quality. Actually, this is what the value comes from, but not the machine itself. The machine itself is maybe easier, but the resource and the soft power is most important as the big company like us.
Well, thank you, Meng. I think indeed those are the very crucial points for the whole value chain, more or less. Now maybe Bartosz or Andrew or Daan, do you still want to contribute something?
I think Hans, what we find is that there's really two aspects to preventing further price cannibalization and seeing the market for everybody move in the right direction. Firstly, I think, we as a distributor with SegenSolar, we've been dragged into a price position because of the overcapacity, because of the overproduction, because of the forecasts that were done, as Maria mentioned last year, the year before last, of growth potential. And certainly we need manufacturers to start to take a lead in stabilizing and getting pricing right and making sure with the Red Sea cost increases that these are managed effectively through the system so that they start the ending of the price aggression. And at the same time, as we're seeing with lots of us as distributors, it's about the added value services that we can offer our installers so that they can pass it on to the end users. And if we get that right, then we will see the market stabilize and we'll see the market start to return to a place where everybody can make a fair and reasonable return. And that's where we really want to be.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Andrew. Agata, maybe still something from your point of view to this aspect.
I think we are almost at the time, so I'm not sure if we should hear.
Okay.
Do we still have time, or should we move to Q&A?
I think we have 2 or 3 minutes left, but we can also, if you want, we can also go on.
So maybe we should answer some questions from the audience instead of at least I can give my time to the questions from the audience.
Okay. Well, okay. So, but thank you to all of you. I think at the end we sampled some very important points. It's not stress only on the price, stress on quality, on service, installation, trainings, then build up the trust with the value chain. They check where the products are coming from, not only look for the cheap price issues at the end. So, and this is a challenge for the whole industry and for the distributors and the installers. So before we come to the questions now of our viewers, still one sentence for all of you. What would be your main wish for 2024? So Meng. Let's go on, Maria.
First of all, I wish this year becomes a peaceful year, even though we are hearing only all the bad news around us. 2022 was Ukraine, last year was Middle East. That's a very important thing, because political influence and these stuff are actually influencing our businesses as well. A lot of success to all the distributors and the installers out there. Communicate with your distributors, and for the distributors, communicate with your suppliers so we can grow together. That's the only way to move forward. Communicating, finding solutions together is the only way to move forward from here on.
Well,
Yeah,
okay, thanks.
sorry, I just mute.
Yeah.
So continue with Maria. I think for 2024, we will continue to invest our local platform with more IT support and also the service support, service resource. This is what we are going to continue investment in 2024. We believe this is our advantage and a competitive thing. We are going to work with our partners to focus on our limited partners. We will not expand the partners as more as possible. No, we don't do that. I know some of the unknown brand, they they didn't care about the network, the healthy network. They work with everybody. Everyone comes to them. They give the price and make the pricing is quite like a mess. We focus on our real strategic partners, and we hope our strategic partners also focus on some really valued brands, and we work together. We invest on the service to improve all of the soft power and to make future better. I believe this is what we can do together.
Well, good. Thank you, Meng. Okay, if I just would still offer to all of you, to the other panelists who want to say something, now your main wish, or otherwise we will really go on now to the questions that are coming in.
Hi.
Okay, then I would say I switch now. I say thank you to you, and I switch now to Miguel. We are coming now to the questions from our viewers who are out there. Again, welcome to you, and thank you that you joined us. So, Miguel, what would you say? What are one of the most interesting questions that came in now?
I put them on the chat so everyone can see. I collect the questions that needs to be elaborated. We can start with the first one. Why would prices of installation decrease if the price of modules decrease? I think that was the question for the Bartosz part.
Yeah, Bartosz.
So maybe you can answer it, Bartosz, or anyone else?
So, okay. Wait. So for some reason, click meeting a little bit of time for me to unmute. I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, everything's working.
So look, I mean, so before we started Menlo, I was a COO and board member at an installation company, which we built into back then the second biggest installation company in Poland, focusing on residential. In our peak month, we did 1,600 rooftops in a single month. So that was a big challenge. But one thing that I learned back then is that installation business is just extremely competitive. There are just no barriers to entry. And if for some reason, you know, your cost of goods, like modules and batteries and inverters, they fall, and you maintain your price and your margins increase, immediately 5 competitors emerge to also benefit from that. It's just it's too easy to enter, and it's too difficult to differentiate yourself versus the other installers. If you look at it globally, there are no profitable major installers nowhere. I mean, there are like 5 nationwide big installers in the US which are loss making all the time, just taking investor money and yielding losses. And apparently, it's just a business model where the barriers to entry are too low. And that just means if your margins increase, if your costs decrease, and you keep your price, your margin increases, and competitors come in and just take it away. They win with the price.
Anyone would like to add something to that answer? Well, we have other one. It's about the France. Law was passed in France on October 23 to repatriate PV production to France and make it possible to place public procurement orders and respect environmental obligation. That should prevent Asian acquisition of PV. That's someone's comment. But what do you think about the making the production in France, for example, versus having like a good or different companies from Asia?
So I think it's more related to the carbon footprint, where France already has this. They just want to make it even wider and more strict. Most of for Jinko, from Jinko's side, we are working on reducing our carbon emissions significantly. And the gigafactory, which I mentioned earlier, of 53 gigawatts will be running 100% on renewable energy. Plus, Jinko went into the RE100 a long time ago, and we have committed to going 100% on green energy by 2025. So this is where the whole industry is going. It's reducing the emissions, and France is leading this. They started it a few years ago, and they're just making it stricter and wider. So it's not limiting Asian manufacturers. It's limiting non-green Asian manufacturers. So that's the whole strategy behind it.
And does the other companies also do something to reduce its carbon footprint, like distributors or Sungrow?
I mean, certainly we within SegenSolar always look to work with our manufacturers to ensure that they minimise their carbon footprint and that they are environmentally in the right place. And certainly we're already seeing that support come from them. We're seeing issues like traceability come through now from suppliers as well, which is important. But I think in relation to the whole production of product within the European environment, that will remain challenging, if nothing else, from a cost and experience technology perspective. But I think we will see more appear in Europe over time. I think in the USA, we're certainly going to see more production take place over there for more self-sufficiency. And over the next 10 years, they're going to try and get to 75% self-sufficient. And we will see a move within Europe towards that, but I think it's a long-term play. I think if China and other manufacturing countries at the moment get their act into gear, it'll be politics that makes a change, not carbon footprint that makes that change.
Thank you, Andrew. We have a different question about terrorist attacks. The question concerns terrorist attacks in the Mozambique channel impact, and that those terrorist attacks impacts channel transportation and force people to go through South Africa. What is causing price to increase? Do you think this increase continue?
This is Michał. This is what I mentioned earlier. Due to the circumstances in the Red Sea, first of all, shipments to Mediterranean are almost impossible. Throughout the Red Sea, most of the shipping lines are refusing to sail through Red Sea. Insurance have jumped. They are going around Africa, which is increasing the time of delivery. So we're seeing big delays, and the cost, of course, have tripled already for the last 2-3 weeks. We expect as well conjunctions at some of the ports like Rotterdam, because a lot of the stock is now being diverted through Rotterdam, where we might see some conjunctions there, and a lot of blank sailing from China to Europe, because the ships will not leave and the schedules are all not according to what they used to be. So that's the reason behind the cost increase there. We don't know where it's going to go. We're monitoring it as well. So
I was curious if anyone would take the future question.
Yeah, hard to tell for everybody. Thank you very much. Jack from Solar Racks asked you about the mounting structure suppliers from China. What do you think about the solar mounting structure supplier from China? Lead time, quality, price, and after-sales service. What are your thoughts about them?
Maybe I can answer this one. Yeah. So I think, well, talking about Europe, I think most of the distributors here are from Europe. It's well, even with the brands that we are selling with mounting structures, it's very difficult to sell them in all different countries, because every country has their own mounting system company who is strong in that market. So I think lead time is important, quality is, well, that is most important, but also price and after service. So I think if you really are considering moving to Europe and selling your mounting systems here, you should at least get, let's say, like some local people, a local service team, so you speak the same language as the installers. But yeah, lead time and quality is also important. You need to really convince the end installer that your product is better than all the big names that already are here in Europe. Because, well, there are a lot of big names here, and a very competitive market as well.
So again, using my experience at PV installation company, you don't want to find yourself in a situation when there's just one SKU that is not the way you wanted it to be. Yeah, I mean, you don't want any screw to be the wrong size or anything like that, because you may have brought in a full container load of mounting structure all the way from China and realize you're missing a certain component. And of course, you can buy a replacement locally, but then there is no warranty for that, for the whole system. Yeah. So it's compared to modules or inverters or storage, this one is way more risky from the perspective of installation company.
Thank you, Daan, and thank you, Bartosz. We have two questions to Maria about the product. What will be the major production VP for the year 2024 from the N-type mono?
For mono products, when it comes to installers, I assume this is residential and CNI. We're talking about 54 cell 300, 440, 430 watts. And for commercial, more like 60 cell 480. This is the majority for this sector. When it comes to distribution. For utility, we're talking 72, 78, and 66, 580 plus all of them. Even we have some 630. So this is, depending on which part you're looking. We have as well, somebody, I think Andrew mentioned the glass part. We do have 54 cell glass because we see more and more carports being requested, and this is the most compatible product for this, which is bifacial 54 cell. There was size restrictions mentioned as well. This is for Germany. For this product is compatible, but I know that there is a discussion about increasing the size. We are still waiting for the final decision in Germany. Once this is decided, we will decide the shift from there. So, yeah, it's about monitoring the market and communicating with distributors.
Thank you very much, everyone. We are very close to the finish of the debate. There are a few other questions that we're gonna write them down and send the answers in the Q&A session. There are some technical questions to the producers, but I think we can.
Oh, and we can see David now.
I'm sorry, what?
We can see David now.
Yeah. Hello, David. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to have such interesting guests for the debate, and thank you all the guest viewers of the debate for being with us. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to contact us. We're going to make some other webinars frequently, so hope you all will join us again. Thank you all. If our guest wants to say anything, now's the time. Thank you again, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you too.
everybody.
Thank